I never really use Twitter, but whenever I do, I'm quickly reminded of why I don't. The official Dungeons & Dragons account posted this image with the caption, "Life of a Showgirl," and a bunch of emoji. Obviously, some media manager wanted to cash in on Taylor Swift hype, so they dug out an appropriate art asset from some adventure and hit send tweet. The comment section hated that. They were so overcome by blind rage that I don't think they even understand what's going on anymore. Like, some of them think this is an ad campaign? No, it's just a trendy meme. And I can forgive them for not being fully caught up on Taylor Swift discography. But it's worse than not just getting a reference. It's almost like they're being deliberately obtuse, as if this image represents everything wrong with the franchise.
What does this have to do with D&D?
Honestly, great question. Most people probably wouldn't know where this particular image comes from. I did some digging around the comment section, and it turns out that this is a diva from Journey to the Radiant Citadel. Even without the book, it's not hard to guess that she's an enemy that you might fight at some point. But a lot of people didn't quite clock that. This commenter thinks that the players are no longer fighting monsters and are now competing for the best costume, which honestly could be a fun side quest. But that's not what's happening here.
What does this have to do with slaying monsters and amassing treasure?
It's such a weird goalpost to set. If those are the only two elements in your D&D campaign, respectfully, don't invite me. I will take a good plot point over a pile of gold any day.
Dungeons and Dragons. The instructions are in the title.
At some point, you're just being intentionally dense. Even if we were playing a monsters and treasure campaign, most encounters do not feature a dragon. Dragons are like an endgame sort of thing. And of course, not every encounter needs to be in a dungeon. Is it really so hard to imagine a scenario where a festival is derailed by performers attacking the crowd? I think it's a pretty cool concept. Not only are the players caught unawares, but they also need to consider how they're going to keep the civilians safe, minimize collateral damage. You have lost the plot. This person is criticizing the artwork by comparing it to old school D&D. I can understand why someone might enjoy this style of artwork, and I can respect the artistry behind it. But do you honestly think this is gonna sell better than this? But also, I gotta draw attention to the fact that these images are getting hundreds of likes. And yet, there's no dungeon or dragon to be found. It's like they already know. I'm not gonna read every single comment here, but the prevailing opinion is that this is not D&D. But like, why not? Why does D&D have to fit your specific aesthetic? Fantasy is fluid, and that's part of what makes it fun. Sure, it's cool to have your paladin kill demons in hell, but why stop there? What's wrong with a little festival chapter? You know, as a treat. D&D wants to appeal to as many people as possible, and they want those people to keep buying their stuff. The best way to do that is to branch out into different settings and themes. Not every adventure should take place in a dark, gritty dungeon, and not every plot point should revolve around killing goblins to amass wealth. If you would rather play this kind of traditional dungeon crawling campaign, all power to you, but that shouldn't stop the company from publishing colorful anthologies with interesting new story hooks. But I can't help but feel like that's not what these commenters are really complaining about. They don't know the context of this image, and they don't even register that it's supposed to be a trendy meme. Instead of doing even the slightest bit of research or critical thinking, they left the most reactionary comments imaginable. And what are they reacting to exactly? Well, there's a scantily clad black woman standing on a table with violence and fury in her eyes. I'm not going to make any blanket statements, but also, look at those blue check marks. When we get past the dense surface level, what does this have to do with D&D slop, we start seeing instances of blatant racism and, for some reason, trans misogyny. Like, there's nothing transphobes love more than inventing hypothetical trans women to get mad about. There are religious commenters who legitimately think that this one black woman is somehow worse than Satanism. They see this image as emblematic of everything wrong with modern D&D, tangible proof of something they already knew. Their game is ruined forever. And I'm not saying you can't be critical of D&D or Wizards of the Coast, but in this particular case, these people are getting mad over nothing. They see an enraged black woman and immediately dismiss it as some kind of woke self-insert. Well, they are fractionally correct. Journey to the Radiant Citadel was written entirely by people of color, which I think is important for the broader TTRPG community. Western fantasy settings have been historically dominated by white faces, but there's no reason for it to stay that way. Maybe this is controversial, but racial diversity is good. Most of these comments aren't engaging in blatant racism, but that is the underlying feeling here. Why is this the one post that gets all the negative attention? If these people actually cared about D&D being cool and having dragons, why didn't they have anything to say about this sick artwork that was posted just a couple days earlier? Like, there's something about this art that is drawing their ire. Either they don't like the color, or they don't like the color. Again, I'm not saying that all of these commenters are racist. I'm just saying that if you see a black woman and your first thought is, that's not D&D, it might be time for a little bit of introspection. And if your legit only problem with this image is that you don't like the idea of a festival setting with diva assassins, you can just ignore it. There are dozens of other published adventures to choose from, and your imagination is entirely free. You don't need the company's official endorsement to use older systems. You control the game you play at your table. But what bothers me most about this comment section is the idea that somehow there's a wrong way to play D&D. The core essence of this game isn't looting dungeons or fighting monsters in hell. It's sitting at the table, playing a game with your friends. That's not something worth gatekeeping. So, lesson learned. Stay off Twitter. Follow me on Blue Sky instead. Or better yet, follow me on YouTube, where I make videos that are, for the most part, nothing like this one.